most of us know about the flagship phones that Samsung released in 2018, like the Samsung Galaxy S9 Plus and the Note 9. But Samsung also released some interesting smartphone in the mid-range category this year. And one of them is the Samsung Galaxy A7 2018 with a triple camera setup at the back. And today in this video, we'll be looking at its camera and gaming performance. So first, we'll be looking at the gaming performance of the Galaxy A7. But before that, let me run you through the specifications of the Galaxy A7. So inside the thin frame of this phone, there lies a 14nm Exynos 7885 chipset, and this is a Samsung-made octa-core chipset with two 2.2 GHz Cortex A73 and six 1.6 GHz Cortex A53. This processor is paired with 4 GB of RAM, so on paper, the Galaxy A7 looks like a very competent gaming device. Now talking about the cameras, there are three sensors on the rear: a 24 megapixel wide sensor with f1.7 aperture, 8 megapixel ultra wide sensor with f2.4 aperture, and a 5 megapixel depth sensor, whereas there's a single 24 megapixel sensor with f2.2 aperture on the front. So as for the gaming review, we charged our A7 to 100% battery and then played 4 different games for 15 minutes each. That totals to 1 hour of continuous gaming, and after each 15 minutes, we noted the battery percentage drop, wrote a thing or two about our experience while playing the game, and also cleared the RAM of the device for the next game. So the 4 games that we played are Shoutout, Nova, Asphalt 9, and of course PUBG. The first game was the Shoutout 3, a game that belongs to the fighting genre. This game loaded pretty quickly on the A7, the UI elements were very responsive, and the whole gaming experience was one smooth deal with no stutter whatsoever. After 15 minutes with this game, the battery percentage dropped to 95%. Note that we did not have a SIM card installed on the A7 when conducting these tests, so you should expect 1 or 2% more drop in the battery in real world uses. After some fighting, we moved on to some shooting in the alien world in the game called Nova. The experience on this game was like the one I had on the Shoutout. The game loaded pretty quickly, I never experienced any stutter. Moving around and killing bad robbers was a very fun task. Playing the Nova for 15 minutes took the battery from 95% to 92%, and this is just a 3% drop, and it is very impressive. Now after the Nova, we played Asphalt 9 Legends. Asphalt took a little longer to load than the other 2 games, but after it loaded, there was no lag in the game. I completed my races without any dropped frames and without any occasional stutters. It was one smooth experience. But the graphics were not as appealing as something you get with the Note 9, for example. But still, the graphics was satisfactory, and you will enjoy the gaming experience on this device like I did. 15 minutes of Asphalt 9 dropped the battery from 92% to 86%, which is a 6% drop. At last, we played everyone's favorite game, PUBG. I really felt that the A7 was a mid-range device when I played this game. PUBG took a while to load, and the gameplay wasn't as smooth as on the Note 9 or the Mate 20 Pro. The panning was a little slow, and in-game, where every element needs to be looked at with razor-sharp focus so that we can identify the hidden enemies, the graphics felt a little bit lackluster. However, when I'm not comparing this device performance to anything else, I found the experience very enjoyable. There were no lags or stutters, I didn't experience any dropped frames, and if you're coming from something less powerful, you'll definitely like gaming on this device. The battery on this device when playing PUBG for 15 minutes went down to 80% from 86%. So an hour of gaming took 20% battery life out of the Galaxy A7, but with a SIM card installed, this number might get still high. Even accounting for an extra 5% drop, this number is still very good for the Galaxy A7 2018. On overall, the gaming experience on the Galaxy A7 2018 is very enjoyable thanks to its AMOLED screen and a loud down-firing speaker, but the speaker might get easily blocked off with your finger while playing games, so it'd be better if you play the games with your headphones on. So except that, it's a very enjoyable experience. Now that was for the gaming. Now let's see the camera performance. So for the first batch of camera samples, we have the outer photos to test out its dynamic range and how it handles the highlights. The outer photos came off really nice. I was expecting photos to have that warmer color profile, but it was not the case. Most of the time, photos from the main sensor had natural color and the details were quite satisfactory. But switching to the wide lens is not that exciting. As you can see in these pictures, the images lack details, which automatically makes them not so impressive. Now taking things indoor, A7 was able to click decent pictures under artificial lights, and pictures of objects with bokeh effect came out slightly darker than the normal pictures. Now let's talk about some night shots. The night shots are not that impressive, and it could have been way better. The main sensor does kinda okay, but the wide sensor is not really useful for night shots. The wide shots came off very blur and full of grains, as you can see in these sample images. Now onto some portrait. I was kinda impressed with the result. The highlights were properly handled, and the edge detection is fairly decent as well, so I liked the portrait photos from this phone. Now talking about the front camera, I was impressed with the front camera much more than the rear camera. The selfies come off really nice, but the thing I don't like is you cannot negate the beauty effect totally. The smoothing was set to 0, but still there's smoothing going on in these samples. Also, I was impressed with how the front camera was able to highlight bright backgrounds. However, the background tends to get washed out if you're going for a selfie with bokeh effects. Now, after some videos, you can capture only up to 1080p 30 fps from the rear camera with this device. There is some sort of stabilization as well, but it's not as good as the flagships. I guess this is what Samsung needs to improve on their mid-range devices. But the video from front camera was fairly impressive. It had good details and overall, it looked pretty nice. So this was our performance review of the Samsung Galaxy S7 2018. Let us know what you think about it in the comments below. And as always, like if you liked it, subscribe to our channel for more contents like this, and also hit that bell icon to get notifications. Until next time, namaste.